Wakefield, 1925. An ancient metropolis, a genuine city. The main thoroughfare came in from the West Gate, along Marygate into the Bullring. Here, in the centre of the city, the statue of Queen Victoria, erected in 1904, reflects civic pride. A high point of the years between the wars was the yearly carnival, which took some 3 hours to pass down Market Street, past the cattle market and into the park. Each area of the city had a comic band. Eastmoor, a constant favourite with the crowd, played until the 1930s. Watching this parade, we feel a massive sense of the community coming together. Little did the happy throng realise that their community and way of life would be swept away forever within a few years. 38 years later, Wakefield had become a city of surprises, an industrial city with some old, dignified buildings left. From Westgate, the visitor was quickly conveyed into the Bullring. Queen Victoria's statue, which formerly graced the area, was removed to Clarence Park in 1950. Here visitors got their first glimpse of the developments which had been carried out. Parades of modern shops, above which were flats and offices. Surrounded the centrepiece, room for which had been made, unfortunately, by the demolition of some picturesque old properties. But the increasing number of vehicles passing through the city required wider roads. As well as keeping traffic moving, the city planners had to look after pedestrians, and zebra crossings had recently been located at various points. In Kirgate, the wide streets were flanked by a variety of shops and stores, and the city was fast gaining the reputation of being one of the best shopping centres in the whole of the West Riding. Looking down Cross Square could be seen the crowning glory of Wakefield, the majestic cathedral church of All Saints, which had a seating capacity of some 1,200. The spire, which reached a height of 247 feet, was the highest in the county. One of the busiest parts of the city was the Springs, which joined Lower Kirgate and Westmoreland Street. Here, many new shops were to be found. The large variety of colourful and well-stocked shop windows were evidence of a thriving and prosperous community. The new market hall, opened in 1964, was one of the finest of its kind. Inside, on 2 levels, were brightly coloured stalls from which one could obtain a large range of goods. Equally important was the open market, which, with its multicoloured roofs, gave a continental atmosphere. Here, milling throngs of weekend shoppers could be seen looking for the best or the cheapest, always with an eye for a bargain. The open market was held on Friday and Saturday of each week, when tradesmen of the city and surrounding districts assembled to display their products for sale. Beneath the town hall clock, in the council chamber with its unique layout, the members of the city council awaited the arrival of the mayor, who, preceded by the mace bearer and followed by the town clerk, made his way to the place at the head of the chamber. The mace, which symbolises the authority of the mayor, was presented to the city by Alderman Pickles in 1936. It's silver, heavily plated in gold, and 4 feet long. The full council of 11 aldermen and 33 councillors, elected from all walks of life, met at monthly intervals, when matters of city administration were discussed in a truly democratic manner. The subject under discussion may well have been the provision of car parks, a facility which was essential to the life of a forward-looking city. With a population of some 60,000, which was steadily increasing, the provision of adequate housing was always high on the list of priorities of the City Council, which had, over the years, provided a variety of types of houses in 10 main housing estates. Queen Elizabeth House, completed in 1960, was one of several special homes for the aged. These homes provided the care and company which enabled those in the autumn of life to live quietly and comfortably. A fully qualified staff was always on hand to ensure that the needs of the residents were catered for. Much thought had been given to the furnishings of these homes, and every conceivable aid to safety and comfort had been incorporated in the design. Housing estate annual competitions were held for the best-kept gardens, which, while generating friendly rivalry, made the estates even more attractive. Close to the city centre, land for housing development was naturally scarce, and to use available land to the best advantage, flats were erected. The first of many such projects, Carr House has 11 floors and contains delightful 1- and 2-bedroom flats of modern design. From the windows of these flats, one can obtain excellent panoramic views of the city. Evidence of the continuing development and expansion can be seen on all sides. It was often necessary to demolish old property to provide space for the erection of new buildings, in keeping with the overall plan of a city determined to keep pace with the progress of modern society. New construction was not confined to housing and the development of the city centre. New schools, of which Thorns High was typical, were provided. The child's first experience of school was at the primary infants, where they commenced at the age of 5, remaining until they were 7. During this time, basic instruction was given in many subjects, which would form the foundation upon which their subsequent education would be built. There were 13 schools in the city, devoted entirely to infants. In addition, a further 5 were combined with junior schools, which took children from 7 to 11 years old. In addition to teaching the children to read, write, and do simple arithmetic, every effort was made to encourage self-expression. Typical of the new city high schools, which cater for children from the age of 11 onwards, was the Cathedral School. Domestic science was one of the numerous practical subjects in which the girls received instruction. Dressmaking, cookery, and other domestic tasks were taught by competent and fully qualified staff. In the city high, the child was finally prepared for playing a full and useful part in domestic life, industry, commerce, or for further education at other schools or colleges which specialized in particular fields. A recent addition, of which the city is most proud, was the Technical and Art College, opened in 1962. In the engineering department, all types of equipment had been installed in order to prepare students for entry into one of the city's many industries. Many school leavers took up employment in the woolen mills. Mining and its related industries, textile mills and heavy and light engineering provided employment for a considerable section of the population. Probably the sport which has brought most fame to the city is rugby league football, and Wakefield Trinity Football Club is known wherever the game is played. At their ground in Bellevue on Saturday afternoons throughout the season, crowds gathered to witness their keen and skillful play. During their recent history, Wakefield Trinity has won many trophies, and on no less than 4 occasions has won the Rugby League Challenge Cup. Returning victorious from Wembley in 1963, after winning against Wigan, they received a rapturous welcome. Wakefield has always been noted for its fine parks, and the holiday festivities were a great time for children to participate in various events, which they entered into with great enthusiasm. One of the most important events of 1967 took place on Wednesday, the 27th of March, when the Right Reverend Eric Tracy, formerly suffragan Bishop of Pontefract, was enthroned in the Cathedral Church of All Saints. Shortly after 2:30, representatives of the West Riding Council and civic heads of the 13 boroughs in the diocese, preceded by their respective mace-bearers, began to arrive. When all were gathered, the bishop, accompanied by his attendants, arrived at the west door of the cathedral and, in the traditional manner, knocked 3 times upon it with his pastoral staff before entering. The enthronement itself was performed by the provost of the cathedral, the Very Reverend Canon Philip Pear, by mandate of His Grace the Archbishop of York. On completion of the ceremony, the bishop left the cathedral in procession, accompanied by the canons, the assistant bishop, provost, registrar, the bishop's chaplain, and the chancellor, Mr. G.R. Graham, QC, who had read the mandate. A not unfamiliar sight in the city of recent years has been the return of Wakefield Trinity Football Club from Wembley. Usually victorious, but alas, this time as runners-up, having been beaten by neighbours Leeds in an exciting final played under extreme conditions. The return of the team from Wembley is a sure signal for supporters to turn out in force to register their admiration. On this occasion, the team were able to show supporters the league championship trophy, which they had won during the season. In response to accolades from the crowd, Don Fox had, finally, to appear on the town hall balcony. February 1969 saw the opening of the first multi-storey car park in the city. This provision, in a city widely known for its free car parking facilities, did not meet with the approval of either the tradesmen or the motoring public. In spite of the initial opposition, no doubt as the years progress, the venture will prove the wisdom of the city fathers, whose foresight provided this amenity for the city. Another well-known Wakefield establishment, Pickle's Store, disappeared when, on Sunday morning, 15th of March 1969, demolition contractors set to work in Kirkgate to make way for a shopping development recently opened lower down the thoroughfare. Thursday, the 12th of March 1970, saw the meeting of a long-felt need, a new store. For on this day, the Mayor of Wakefield, Alderman Janice Taylor, opened the 49th branch of C&A. The crowd of eager shoppers which had gathered in Westgate more than an hour before the official opening provided no control problem for the police. Once the doors were open, it was quite beyond the power of the police to restrain the rush of bargain hunters, anxious to be the first to buy from the store. Military music by the band of the Royal Corps of Signals announced the arrival of Tesco in Wakefield, with the irrepressible Jimmy Savile to perform the opening ceremony. The combination of military music and Jimmy Savile proved to be a happy one. The store rapidly filled with customers who found plenty there to interest them. Not the least of the attractions was the opportunity to obtain the signature of one of the most famous personalities in show business. A salute to a departing era. Civic Sunday has been an annual event in Wakefield for many years. But this Sunday in March saw Finney writ large. For this event was the last official function of the city of Wakefield, which officially died at midnight on the 31st of March, 1974. The procession, with its traditional makeup of the volunteer forces based in the city and many voluntary organisations, together with civic dignitaries, followed the traditional route from the town hall to the cathedral. The final chapter of the history of the city was written when its last mayor, Councillor J. Dean, entered the cathedral for the final service. Many of us remember using the school penny bank during our school days, but how many of us realise that the first school bank was founded as long ago as 1874? The 100th anniversary was celebrated in Wakefield by local school children in the costume of the year in which the bank was founded. The celebration started with a procession from the Unity Hall through the city. A sign of the changing face of the city and the influx of friends from other lands was a Hindu wedding, which took place on Saturday, the 29th of June, 1974. Friendliness was exemplified by the fact that St. Michael's Church made accommodation available for the couple. The wedding, with its customs, little known to us, created much interest. By comparison with Christian events of this period, commencing as this one did early in the morning and continuing well into the evening, is a somewhat prolonged celebration. Yes, the face of the world changes. On a dull day, members of the National Union of Mine Workers and supporters gathered at the top of Wood Street for the 1976 Miners' Annual Parade. Upon arriving at Wakefield Park, the assembled miners were welcomed by the Mayor and Wakefield Metropolitan and District Councillor, Mrs. Doris Kenningham. Her welcome was responded to by Arthur Scargill, President of the Yorkshire region of the National Union of Mine Workers. Mr. Scargill introduced the principal speaker for the event, the Minister of Energy, Mr. Anthony Wedgwood Benn. Mr. Benn did not seem capable, on this occasion, of holding the attention of all his audience. After being for so many years the envy of surrounding towns, with its vast, free, ground-level parking facilities, in the summer of 1976, Wakefield succumbed to the modern malady and instituted fees for car parking. An event which it appears did not receive the wholehearted approval of most visitors, as the numbers using the car parks was, initially, very sparse. The appearance of workmen in George Street announced the start of probably the most ambitious and certainly the most controversial development ever to take place in Wakefield, to be known as the Riding Centre. The development is a joint venture between Capital and Counties Property Development Company Limited and the City of Wakefield Metropolitan District Council. Work proceeded apace, and no sooner were buildings demolished than work commenced on replacement structures which will form the new precinct. Favourite places of entertainment, comparatively new buildings, were ruthlessly destroyed to make place for the new. His school opened in 1873, but its long life as a place of education came to a sad conclusion on July the 25th, 1981, when, for its 30 pupils, it was home time for the last time. There was sadness amongst them as they departed, taking with them their school belongings in readiness for starting afresh elsewhere after the summer holidays. Modern education has no place for the much loved and respected village schools. In its heyday, Heath School had 56 pupils. Sadness too for Mr. Tate, headmaster since 1960. As he locked the door for the last time, he brought to an end 108 years of village education. The Department of the Environment approved the demolition of the old Victorian Gateway, a listed building, at Wakefield Prison, as part of a £4.25 million improved security scheme, on which work began in 1980. A new entrance had previously been provided. The new scheme involved the demolition of sections of the present wall, and replacement will be by a concrete wall, stone-faced. Existing walls are to be renovated and in some cases heightened. When completed, the walls were fitted with a capping device in a smooth plastic to make it difficult for security to be breached. Completion of the project would take a number of years. Clark's Breweries sponsored the 1982 pancake race, together with the local weekly newspaper, the Wakefield Express. The event, naturally enough, was staged on Shrove Tuesday, entrance coming under starters orders at 12 noon. Many teams from local organisations entered, and the event was organised into heats. The first team in each heat to complete the 80-yard course with all pancakes intact, receiving for each member a bottle of sparkling Vieux de Vernay, supplied by Clark's Brewery. Teams were competing for a huge trophy donated by David Brown of Westgate and a magnum of champagne from Clark's Brewery. Overall winners were the team from Casanova's Night Spot. The morning of Friday, the 26th of November 1982, saw public places in the city patriotically decorated in readiness for the visit of Her Majesty the Queen. Whilst crowds gathered in the streets to give her a royal welcome, the resourcefulness of the police was tested by an unrehearsed incident involving their horses. We doubt if this constable will ever go bald. There were no horses to upset people on Westgate Station, where the Queen was due to arrive at 9:45 and be met by Sir William Bulmer, the Lord Lieutenant of West Yorkshire. An official party of civic dignitaries were also at the station, awaiting Her Majesty's arrival. The Lord Lieutenant welcomed Her Majesty and then escorted her to the royal car. A foretaste of the enthusiastic welcome she was to receive in the city was provided by crowds gathered in the station car park. Her journey was but a short trip to the bottom of Wood Street, where she began her walkabout. The mayor, Councillor Colin Croxhall, escorted the royal visitor as she met and chatted to the people of the city. At the scene of the police cleaning up operation, the Queen rejoined her car for the journey to Bishop Garth. Right on schedule, Wakefield's new shopping centre, The Ridings, was opened on 17th of October. A unique feature of the centre is the fast food area, an ideal place for our roving reporters to meet the shopping public.
Tea, don't you? And are you pleased that this place has been built and prepared for you?
It's very nice.
Beautiful.
When we get round it all.
When you get round it all,
Yeah.
that's right. Did you have to go to the information desk?
No, we just said we'd come and have a look round, you know. I think myself, we're a bit lost at the
You're a bit
moment.
lost?
Yeah, you know,
Oh.
it's bigger than you think, yes.
Yes.
But it's beautiful, it really is. I was just saying, you know, if our parents had to come back, you know, they'd be amazed to
Yeah.
see this, you know, really, it's beautiful, isn't
Have
it?
you been on?
From the lower floor cafe, we went up one level, and here we obtained the male point of view.
On first impression, it sets you back. It's very good. Very eye-catching. It reminds me, I was just telling my wife, of a thing I saw on the television on the basis of Texas, where they have all the underground, and you can walk from one street to another underground, everything's like this. I think it's nice. I think it's pleasant to go shopping in, I suppose, for a woman.
There did seem to be a problem with prams on the stairways, so we asked one mother about this. Was there a problem?
Well, I found it all right. I usually do go up and down escalators, you know, so, and I think it's lovely, like you're inside and you can have a look all around the shop without getting wet or cold or anything, can't you?
Are you going to...
We used the unique lift to go to the top level and made our way to one of the entrances, where we asked a couple for their reactions.
You shop in the free
Yes, very good.
Enjoy it.
Yes, it's nice to be undercover. That's one good thing about it.
That's right.
But I just feel it's a little bit flashy somehow. I don't know, bright.
Flashy?
Bright.
Bright.
Yes.
Oh, and what are your...
I think it's all right. It's very nice. Plenty of lifts and what have you to get up and down the
Yeah.
different floors.
What about the shopkeepers? Do you think they have an advantage over the other shopkeepers outside? What do you think about that?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think they will have, because as long as the Wakefield market's over there, the people will still come outside.
Yeah.
They'll certainly get the people in here, and particularly in bad weather, they'll come in here to keep warm, if nothing else.
Yes. And
But,
how much money do you think it's cost?
oh, I wouldn't know.
community constables Butterfield and Fuwala heard that the chimney of the disused Walton Colliery was to be demolished, they, with the cooperation of Mr. J. Nuttall, the head of Walton Junior School, organised a competition, the task to write an essay on why they would like to blow up the chimney. Out of 100 entries, 10-year-old Paul Hayward was chosen as the winner. The prize, the thrill of felling the chimney. On Paul's great day, all the school went along to the colliery, most of the former employees of which had attended Walton School. On Wednesday, the 28th of December, Paul pressed the plunger to bring the chimney crashing down. In 1904, Queen Victoria's statue was unveiled in the bullring, which was packed with cheering crowds. It remained there until 1950, for most of the time suffering the indignity of being the bus stop for Leeds. She then kept a watchful eye on the goings-on in the park for 35 years, until, once again, remodelling of the bullring area provided the opportunity for a move, and the Queen came back home. Before resuming residence, Her Majesty was taken to the council yard in Charlesworth Street for a wash and brush up. Sunday morning was chosen as the day to return the statue, and in stark contrast to the initial unveiling, there were only workmen present. As Queen Victoria was very small, she was placed high. Now, the height protects her from graffiti. A controlled explosion on Sunday the 21st of February saw the end of a landmark to travellers on the M1 motorway. The British coal washing plant at Woolly Colliery closed in the mid-1980s, but left behind the huge conveyors which moved coal to the cleaning plant prior to rail distribution. Early 93 saw Dennis Parkinson being awarded yet another honour.
Would you like to tell me, Dennis, how you got started on motorcycle racing?
Yes, it was way back in 1929 when the old Wakefield District Motorcycle and Light Car Club held the grass track at Ossett. And the club members thought it would be a good stunt for me, in my short trousers and 13 years old, on a 147 Rex Atman, which cost £29.17 a six, to have a go with the big boys. I liked it so much that from then on, I just kept racing.
I see. But later on, of course, you switched to Norton motorcycles, didn't you? Why did you ride Nortons as opposed to, say, BSAs or Matchless?
Well, because we saw them in the business in Ings Road, and actually, we thought they were the best you could get anyway.
I see. So the...
But you see, I started racing in the Isle of Man in 1932 until 1953, 21 years, and won 5 races.
Oh, you won 5 times?
5 times the Manx Grand Prix and once the Clubman's TT, the only time I rode in June in 1947 on an international Norton, which was a a road machine, which had had to be in the clubman.
I see. Now, I believe you set up a new lap speed record, didn't you, in the Isle of Man?
In 1953 coronation year, when I won the senior, making it a total of 5, a record total of 5 wins, I was the first rider in the Manx Grand Prix to lap at 90 miles an hour.
Oh, fantastic. Now, there's a new stamp coming out, isn't there? When is this stamp going to be issued?
Well, because it's the 70th year of running of the Manx Grand Prix, they're bringing 5 special stamps out, which are going to be sold in the Isle of Man on the 3rd of June.
Now, I believe you also played a leading part in the Wakefield Motorsports Club, didn't you?
Well, I helped to form it in 1934 and becoming secretary, which is a job I held for 45 years. I'm now president 59 years later, and the club's still going.
Now, when did you retire from motorcycle racing then?
1954, I had my most successful season ever. Thought I might not do as well as this again. I'd never been hurt in the 21 years I'd raced, and I thought, well, here goes, let's knock off while the going's good. It's been a wonderful time for me. I love motorcycling. I never miss a chance of giving it publicity where I can, because it's a wonderful sport. It's been my life, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
2 members of the royal family visited the city in 1993. The 20th of May saw Princess Diana make her first visit to Wakefield.
Yeah, I've come round to see you.
How nice to see you. Never guess who you support.
Well, it does smell a lot well, so you've got to wait.
I know you have, yes.
On Sunday, the 10th of October, Princess Margaret paid her second visit to the city in 10 years. She came in her capacity as president of the St John's Ambulance Association to attend the South and South West Yorkshire Triennial Service of Rededication. "9th of July 1993 saw miners from Charleston Colliery walk proudly into history to mark the end of coal production at Yorkshire's oldest coal mine. Leading the march was the pit's own band. After assembling at St Luke's Church, Charleston, the procession marched to the pit head.
Thank God for all the happy times, and we remember the sad times in this Yorkshire's oldest colliery. And as we lay this wreath, so we remember before God those who gave their lives in this pit, remembering their families, their children, and all who mourned them. And as we say farewell to Charleston Colliery, so we pray to God that hope never dies in us, and that in his name we keep going forward. Amen.
The skyline of Wakefield was dramatically changed in 1957 when the power station was built. In 1991, an equally dramatic change took place when it was demolished. In 1994, the remaining buildings, boiler room and turbine house went up in smoke. A 400th anniversary took place in Wakefield in 1995. 400 years ago, the first prison, or House of Correction as it used to be called, was built in Back Lane, Wakefield. Guests attending the ceremony included Derek Lewis, former Director General of Prisons, the Right Reverend Nigel McCulloch, Bishop of Wakefield, David Hinchcliffe, MP for Wakefield, and Councillor Mrs. N. Hartshorn, Deputy Mayor and Mayoress of Wakefield.
Society in the 1590s was pretty lawless. One, George Saville, a barrister from a notable Wakefield family, bequeathed in his will a sum of £20 to provide a house of correction. The first house of correction was replaced in 1766 by what was then the new prison, in the area of the current workshop complex. It is from this building, it is believed, the nursery rhyme associated with the mulberry bush first emanated.
There was an unnatural silence in Wakefield at 10:41 a.m. on Saturday, the 6th of September 1997, as the funeral of Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, had brought Britain to a virtual standstill. In the cathedral, the service from Westminster Abbey was relayed throughout the building, where, for almost a week, mourners had been paying their respects. Some of the most touching tributes came from some very young admirers. August the 31st will forever be remembered as the day that we lost our beloved Diana, and the whole world lost a Queen of Hearts. On June the 19th, 1999, Wood Street was the assembly point for the Forces' Day parade through the city, followed by a service at the cathedral. At the appointed time, with the parade assembled and the dignitaries ready on the town hall steps, the parade began. After a short route through the city, they arrived at the cathedral entrance. After the slow process of assembling all the various groups in the cathedral, the service was able to begin. The 40-foot mast erected at Wrenthorpe Primary School by the Orange Phone Company is an object of anxiety for many people.
Fetching them out because my grandchildren are in. I don't wish them to be near this mast.
The parents were so worried, they set up an official protest group called RAMS, Residents Against Masts in Schools.
I think that it shouldn't have been put there, and the governor's let us and the head and the council have all let us down badly. They should have consulted with parents before they let it be put there.
The mast was erected in the school grounds as a means of raising extra revenue. The school hoped to make £40,000 over a period of 10 years as a result of this contract, but, alas, the contract is non-negotiable.
We've had children pull out from the school with the support of the parents. We have now decided that we are going to cease with this until after the Christmas holiday, the Christmas period starts in January. Hopefully we will be able to get a leaflet out to all the parents and residents explaining the situation.
The headmaster, Roger Brown, now regrets his decision to go ahead with the mast contract, even though it was done with the best intentions. Let's hope the new year brings a good report from the scientific experts and the parents are properly consulted in the final outcome. It's almost Christmas, 1999. The shoppers are out in force, getting all those all-important festive necessities and last-minute presents. This Christmas is, of course, a little special, being the last one of the present millennium. The new millennium will no doubt bring changes, many of which cannot even be envisaged. The year 2000 promises to be an exciting time.